Diane. It was November 21st, 2025 at approximately 11:30 a.m. when Cassie sat down to watch the Twin Peaks pilot for the very first time. Completely unaware of the complex and unorthodox story that was about to be laid out in front of her, Laura Palmer had yet to enter her life, but once she did, everything changed. Hello. Welcome to what my life has been for the last couple months. We are here to discuss the case of Laura Palmer. Did I do it? I pointed at her without looking. Okay. It's gonna work. This is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be incredible. So yes, I do have a 102-page script recap that I am about to give you, covering all of the major events that happened in season 1 of Twin Peaks. I created a murder board with red string. All of the red string represents connections to Laura Palmer and then also romantic connections between different characters. Let's begin with the pilot, Northwest Passage. It's Friday, February 24th, 1989. The first people in the town of Twin Peaks that we meet are these three right here. We have Pete Martell, Josie Packard, and then we have someone that has been covered by the framing of the shot, thanks to my podium setup, but Catherine is here in the corner. She's the only one on the board that's getting covered up in this shot, and honestly, we'll consider it some foreshadowing. Now, Pete and Catherine have been married for a very, very long time. So long that they've begun to hate each other. Her brother died in a boating accident last year, and he was the owner of a very successful sawmill here in Twin Peaks. And did he leave his sawmill in the hands of Catherine, his sister? No, he left the entire business to Josie, so Catherine isn't the happiest about that. It's a very tense household here. A married couple that hates each other, tension with Josie, the widow. It's no wonder that Pete wants to get out of the house as early as possible to do some fishing and have some alone time. But when Pete walks outside down to the shore of the lake that their house resides on, he notices what looks to be a dead body washed up and wrapped in tarp. Oh no. Oh, that's the body. Wait, I thought it was a missing girl. It's a murdered girl story? Pete calls the local police department immediately and is greeted by their receptionist, iconic Lucy Morin. But it's not Lucy that Pete needs. It is Sheriff Harry Truman. Luckily, he's nearby and Lucy's going to transfer the phone call to the phone on the table by the red chair. The red chair by the wall. The one with
the little table with the lamp on it. The lamp that we moved from the
Thank
corner.
you, Lucy. So yes, Harry talks to Pete and immediately heads out to the scene. This is where we meet another police squad member, Andy Brennan, little sweetheart. Also the on-again, off-again boyfriend of Lucy. Very scandalous. We also meet Dr. Will Hayward, who is going to be the father of someone very important to the plot. He's the local forensic pathologist who handles autopsies amongst many other things. The three of them confirm that the dead body is, in fact, the beloved 17-year-old Laura Palmer, senior in high school.
Good Lord, Laura.
Laura. And Andy breaks down crying. He's an emotional guy, and that is okay. Unfortunately, while this discovery is being made, we meet Sarah Palmer right here, the mother of Laura, who's realizing that Sarah didn't come home last night. It's a school morning, and she's nowhere to be seen. Sarah, being the smart mom that she is, her mind immediately goes to Bobby Briggs. Bobby is the boyfriend of Laura Palmer. But when she calls Bobby's home and the school's athletic center where he should be practicing football, there's no sign of him. So that's suspicious, that's weird. Over at the Great Northern Lodge, the bed and breakfast owned by the local bigwig, let me extend, Benjamin Horn. Ugh, we don't like a bigwig, okay? There's an important meeting taking place. Benjamin Horn, in partnership with his lawyer, Leland Palmer, yes, the father of Laura, is trying to strike a deal with some rich Norwegians working on convincing them that Twin Peaks has the perfect land to create a country club and estate property. All they have to do is bulldoze that eyesore of a sawmill owned by Josie Packard. Well, this meeting gets interrupted when Leland receives a call from his worried wife.
Make it snappy, huh?
Make it snappy, huh?
So,
And during that call, Leland is at first, of course, trying to keep her calm. But then Sheriff Harry Truman rolls up in his cruiser and Leland sees him. And while he's still on the phone with Sarah, they kind of find out together that, yeah, Harry is here to inform them that they just found their daughter's dead body washed up in the lake. But anyways, next up, we head over to the R&R Cafe where we meet Norma and Shelly over here. Shelly, Norma, waitresses at R&R. And guess who's sitting at the counter? Mr. Bobby Briggs. Okay, we've been looking for him. He's supposed to be at football practice. Nope, he's at R&R. Why would that be? Not only is Bobby Laura's boyfriend, he's Laura's unfaithful boyfriend. He's having an affair with waitress Shelly, who, guess what, is married. We'll be meeting her husband very soon.
I think she knows about us.
He is cheating on Laura. Well, what do you mean I think she knows about? Of course she does. Look at you guys. You guys aren't being on the down low or anything. Oh my god, tea. At the school, we meet Audrey Horne, an icon, a legend, also the daughter of bigwig Benjamin Horne, owner of the Great Lodge. Also at the high school, we meet Donna Hayward and James Hurley. These are two of Laura's closest friends.
Nice day for a picnic.
Yeah.
Oh, and maybe most importantly, we also meet the Moonwalker. We're locking in. I'm trying to lock in. Why did that man just moonwalk off the screen? What was that? What was that boy doing in the back? Bobby shows up a little late to school, and his friend Mike, who is too insignificant to be on the board, is waiting for him. Mike lets him know that the police are here to talk to him, that it's serious, and Bobby's an airhead who doesn't realize the gravity of the situation until he's directly informed that Laura Palmer is dead, and they know that she was with him last night. Bobby's freaked out about the fact that he's a suspect, and he's insistent that he didn't kill her.
I loved her. And she loved me. Because I wasn't at football practice and I killed my girlfriend? You are crazy!
Oh, Bobby, this is not a good look. Back at the Palmer residence, Sarah Palmer literally has to be sedated in order to be calm enough to answer some questions from the police. We find out that she saw Laura last around 9 p.m. the previous night, right after she'd come home from Bobby's house. And she heard Laura receive a phone call later that night, but she doesn't know exactly who or what that was. Upstairs, we meet Officer Hawk. Where are you? Right here. Great guy. Great guy. I love our police force here. Very rare occurrence. He's searching Laura's room with her father Leland, and they end up finding her diary along with a camcorder, both surprise tools that will help us later. Officer Andy then receives a call from Lucy at the station, who's informing him that she just received a call from a worker at the sawmill. His name is Yannick Pulowski.
Says his daughter didn't come home last night.
What?
And she didn't show up at school today either.
I need like a red string board, and we're not even halfway through the pilot. Now cut to the bridged train tracks. We see a teenage girl, battered and bruised with cut ropes around her wrists, walking into town absolutely traumatized, physically and mentally. Her name is Ronette Pulowski. But let's not worry about her just yet. Next up, we meet Ed Hurley, uncle of James Hurley, one of Laura's best friends. And he's also the owner of like the main gas station in town. James comes rolling up to the gas station on his motorcycle, emotionally drained, and he admits to Ed that she was the one. So Laura wasn't just his friend. He was in love with her. And James gives Ed a note to pass on to Donna, telling her to meet him at the Roadhouse that night. I guess I didn't mention it and you could pick up from context, but basically at school that day, everyone was informed about Laura's death. So yes, Donna and James are having a really hard time. Side note as well before we move on, that this is where we also meet Nadine. Okay, she's right here. She is Ed's wife, and we don't get the most pleasant introduction from her. She's screaming out at him from their house next door to the gas station, demanding that he pick up new drapes. She needs new drapes, and she just can't stop fixating on the drapes, and she's just screaming about drapes. And then James is there, like, in grief, and Nadine doesn't care, and she just wants her drapes. Okay, that's Nadine. All right, big turning point in the episode now. A very exciting one. We meet my favorite character, Special Agent Dale Cooper, FBI, okay? And I had to put Diane on here. And I did draw a little string between them, which I shouldn't have because it's only supposed to be for connections to Laura and romantic connections, but I couldn't not connect these two. So yes, the FBI has arrived on the scene, and he's got his little recorder that he's always talking into, addressing a woman named Diane, and he's keeping her up to date on everything from investigative breakthroughs down to his favorite flavor of the local pie. Agent Dale Cooper meets up with Sheriff Harry Truman at the hospital, and Harry's eager to check in on Ronette. But I can't lie, Dale's mind is elsewhere.
What kind of fantastic trees have you got growing around here? Big,
Is it
majestic.
pine?
Douglas firs.
Firs. Wow. But that's not what we're here for, sir. He's an interesting character, this FBI agent. I can't tell if he's going to really be helpful or if we're going to learn to despise him. But they do eventually go in and check on Ronette. Unfortunately, she is unresponsive, and medical staff have confirmed that she has been raped several times and likely has neurological damage. Dale takes an up-close look at her fingernails and doesn't find whatever he's looking for. While he's looking, though, Ronnie suddenly speaks and repeats over and over, "Don't go there." Not mute.
Don't go there.
After the check-in on Ronette, Dale and Harry take an elevator ride down to the bottom floor where the morgue is located. In the elevator with them is a one-armed man that ends up getting off on a different floor. We'll come back to him later. And they also run into psychiatrist Dr. Jacoby. He's got a spot on the board. We'll find out why as the story progresses. He's a weird guy. He's hopeful to come with them to the morgue to see Laura's dead body, and they're obviously like, no, so like we're not gonna just let anyone come hang out with her dead body. And he also lets them know that Laura has been seeing him, a psychiatrist, without her parents' knowledge, which is concerning.
But they didn't know that she was seeing me.
What? Why are you what? Wait, can we talk? We should ask why. What he means. In the morgue, Dale gets up close and personal with Laura's fingernails. Again, he's insistent on checking these girls' fingernails. But this time, unlike with Ronette, he finds what he's looking for under Laura's nails. Deep under Laura's nail, he pulls out a minuscule scrap of paper that has the letter R on it. And we find out that he has seen this before. About a year ago, in a different town in Washington State, not too far away, another teenage girl named Teresa Banks had been murdered in a similar fashion, and now these two murders are officially linked. Meanwhile, Donna shows up at Ed's gas station and he gives her that note that James told him to give her. When Mike, Bobby's friend, rolls up and starts yelling at her to get down to the station and be there in support of Bobby. And so this is when we find out that apparently Donna and Mike are going steady. Who knows why?
Boy, I sure know how to pick him, huh?
Yeah, and you're gonna know how to break up with them. Back at the station, Harry and Dale are going through the evidence collected in Laura's bedroom, and they take a look through Laura's diary. The night of her murder, she wrote, "Asparagus for dinner again. I hate asparagus. Does this mean I'll never grow up?" But more importantly, she also wrote, "Nervous about meeting Jay tonight." At the Jay mention, my first thought, of course, is James, but we shall see. They also find a little plastic envelope containing what appears to be cocaine residue, along with a key to a safety deposit box. But perhaps most importantly...
Diane, I'm holding in my hand a small box of chocolate bunnies.
So it's time for Dale and Harry to question Bobby, and during this line of questioning, Dale pretty quickly comes to the conclusion that Bobby did not kill Laura Palmer. He just knows things. He just picks up on energy. He gets people's motivations. He knows pretty quickly. They also show Bobby a tape that they found in Laura's bedroom, and it shows her and Donna laughing and dancing around in a field, being filmed by a third party. Bobby's insistent that he was not the third party, and then he starts rethinking his entire life when Dale asks him, well, do you think she was seeing someone else? Perhaps someone whose name starts with the letter J. Well, that's enough for Bobby. He storms out when the questioning ends and meets up with his friend Mike, filling him in on this new information and itching to track down James for a couple sucker punches. His mind also immediately goes to James. Dale also comes to the conclusion that the J in Laura's diary must be referring to James, because when you zoom in on Laura's eye in this footage, you can see the reflection of a motorcycle in her eye, and James is known to ride a motorcycle. We circle back to Queen Audrey again, and it was here that I learned that Audrey loves her some chaos. She's at the Great Northern Lodge, of course. She lives there with her family. They own the place. And there's another meeting going down with the Norwegians. Negotiations are still underway with one of her father's employees, trying to get the Ghostwood estates up and running, and hopefully these Norwegians can invest the project. Well, Audrey decides to walk into that meeting room with a huff. She looks very depressed, confesses to them that she's very sad because her friend was just found brutally murdered. Well, we have a bit of a comedic cut after that.
The Norwegians are leaving. The Norwegians.
The Norwegians are leaving. So yeah, there goes her dad's hopes and dreams for investors in the estates and country clubs, at least when it comes to these Norwegians. Now, earlier in the day, Andy had called into the station and informed Lucy that they'd found the disturbing site of the murder, which is an abandoned train car with blood still splattered everywhere. So Dale and Harry show up to take a look, and most notably, they find a piece of newsprint with the words written in blood on it that say, "Fire walk with me." And they also find a golden necklace with half of a heart. So that begs the question, who has the other half? Who has the other necklace? We get our answer straight away, and it's not too much of a surprise. Out on a scenic forest cliff, James sits next to his motorcycle, staring at his half of the necklace. Is he holding it right now? Let me see. James, it's looking bad. Why do I feel like I don't suspect anybody? Anybody that we've met, I don't suspect for this torture and murder. Next up, Harry and Dale, having what has to be one of the busiest days of their lives, gain access to Laura's safety deposit box, and inside it, they find $10,000 and a magazine called Flesh World. So there's a page marked that leads to a picture advertising Ronette Pulowski, and her picture is circled with marker. And another picture on the page features Leo's truck parked out in his yard. Remember Leo? Where is this guy? Where's this loser? Right there. That is Leo. He is R&R waitress Shelley's husband. Shelley being the one who's in a relationship with Bobby, who was supposed to be in a relationship with Laura. And cheating is never good, but when we meet Leo, I cannot help but have empathy for Shelley and her connection with Bobby. Honestly, honest to God, I'm so sorry, but she knows she made a mistake marrying Leo, and I think if she tried to break up with him, like, he would literally kill her. Like, he's terrifying. Is anyone in a faithful relationship in this town? Speaking of faithful relationships, guess who else isn't in one? Gas station owner Ed. Oh my God, another affair? He's cheating on his drapes-obsessed wife, Nadine, with, Norma, the other R&R waitress, Miss Norma, who, yes, is also married. She's married to this man right here, Mr. Hank Jennings, who happens to be in prison at the moment for manslaughter. But get excited because he might be out on parole soon. Anyways, Ed and Norma have plans to meet at the Roadhouse that night. Now it's time for the town hall meeting. Honestly, all you need to know about the town hall meeting is this is where we meet the iconic log lady.
Who's the lady with the log?
We call it a log lady.
Log lady. Okay. Yeah, every town has their local log lady. Love her. She's just a woman who carries a log with her everywhere, and everyone calls her the log lady, and that's pretty much it. Now, later that night, Bestie Donna, overhears her dad, Dr. Hayward, remember the local doctor. She overhears him telling her mom that they think whoever has the missing half of Laura's heart necklace is probably the killer. And Donna knows that James has the other half, and she's like, okay, I really need to go see James. What are we gonna do? Like, she's like, he didn't kill her, but they're gonna think he killed her if they see he has the necklace. Oh no. So yeah, this is looking bad for him. So she gets her sister Harriet to cover for her before sneaking out of Harriet's bedroom window, and taking Harriet's bike out to the Roadhouse to meet James. Almost as soon as she's gone, Mikey and Bobby pull up to her house looking for her. Mike goes to the front door, knocks on that door. Her dad answers. He asks for Donna, and her dad goes looking for Donna. But she's nowhere to be seen in this house, so he goes to Harriet and asks, hey, Harriet, where's your sister? And Harriet rats us out immediately.
I'm gonna tell it to you. I'm gonna tell it to you straight. See that window?
You were supposed to cover for us. You couldn't have come up with something. So Dr. Hayward is worried about Donna and asks Mike if he can find her. And Mike promises he will, and he and Bobby immediately head to the roadhouse expecting to find her there. Because I think they know that she's friends with James. James is always at the roadhouse. That's where the bikers hang out. And yeah, they put pieces together. Anyways, guess who's already at the roadhouse? We have Dale and Harry, who are already on a stakeout, one step ahead of everyone at the moment, expecting something to go down tonight, and they were right. Inside, star-crossed affair lovers, Ed and Norma are already at a booth talking to each other, and they're considering leaving their respective marriages for each other. They are very in love. But I will say there's an energy between them where it seems like they both have fun talking about it, but also there's an unspoken thing there where they don't actually plan to do it, to leave their marriages. It's just like a fun fantasy for both of them. I don't know, it's sad. So Mike and Bobby arrive at the roadhouse and catch the attention of a group of young bikers near the bar. This isn't their turf, so Mike and Bobby stand out. And when Donna arrives looking for James, Mike spots her immediately and just goes in on her, yelling at her, saying she's just like Laura. And he grabs onto her shoulders and won't let go no matter what she does. She's like trying to pull away, she's screaming. So the bikers step in and this turns into a brawl. Ed gets involved too, but almost immediately gets knocked out. Thankfully, a biker named Joey, he pulls Donna away from all of this and promises that he can take her to James. So she hops on his motorcycle and off they go. Harry and Dale see them leave and start tailing them at a distance, but they end up losing them at a certain point. So Joey drops Donna off at some random spooky spot in the woods, because why not? Why, where else would James be other than a spooky spot in the woods at night? I don't know. And James goes into a big monologue with Donna. He tells her that he was with Laura last night.
Things she let herself get pulled into, things she thought you'd hate her for.
Well, oh.
She said even Donna doesn't know me. She said something about a guy getting killed.
What?
Bobby told her that he killed this guy.
What? What? So that's insane. And then you think it can't get more insane, and then all of a sudden Donna and James start making out. This show is fucking insane. I cannot believe what's going on in this town. This is crazy. After the makeout sesh, they decide to bury James's half of the necklace in a random spot here in the woods, and then they head out on the road on his motorcycle, which doesn't last long before they are found and they get pulled over by Dale and Harry. And they're both taken into the station where Donna gets picked up from her lovely father. I love her dad. He's so nice. He's not mad at all. He's just happy she's okay. And James is arrested and put in a cell just because they have enough suspicion on him. But guess who's also in a cell right next to him, thanks to the brawl that broke out at the roadhouse? Mike and Bobby. They've been arrested for fighting or whatever the correct term is. And they end up barking at him. I'm still not really sure what that was about. What the fuck? Anyways, Harry is visiting Josie, remember Josie, the widow of the man who owned the sawmill and current owner of the sawmill? He visits her after what has to be the longest day of his life because, of course, they are lovers. But can you believe it? They're actually both single at the moment. There's no cheating here. They're just secret lovers. So I don't know why it's a secret. Because it's Twin Peaks, I don't know. But Catherine, Josie's dead husband's sister, does know about it. And Catherine gets on the phone with bigwig Benjamin Horne, which we're like, well, what's the connection here? What's going on with these two? Well, we don't know yet, but she's informing him that Harry is visiting Josie again. So why do they care? What are they scheming? We don't know. And then the episode ends with a shot of Sarah Palmer, Laura's mom, having a vision in real time of something that is really happening, of a gloved hand digging up and taking the necklace that James and Donna just buried in the woods. Which begs the question, who was there watching James and Donna in the woods? Because someone had to have been watching and listening in on their conversation to know where that necklace is. Also, what's up with Sarah having a vision of that? What's up with Sarah? Sarah is psychic. Hello? What? How do they know? Who's doing that? So that is the wild ride. That is the pilot. Let's move on to the next episode. We start with FBI agent Dale Cooper doing his usual morning routine, which apparently includes hanging upside down from ceilings.
Plenty of hot water and
What
good
is
steady
happening
pressure
here?
could be a side benefit of the waterfall outside
What is he
my
doing?
window.
What is this? He heads downstairs to enjoy one of the best cups of coffee he's had in his entire life at the hotel breakfast when Audrey walks in. Young icon Audrey. And she is clearly very taken with him. Unfortunately, as well, it seems to go both ways. Ain't no way he's gonna get with this girl. This girl's in high school. Come on now. Also, it was already episode 2 that I had the donut revelation.
That's delicious muffin.
This show is gonna make me want to eat a lot of donuts. I don't even like coffee either, and I want coffee. Now, Harry and Dale meet with Dr. Hayward to go over some autopsy results, and here are their findings. Her time of death was estimated to be between midnight and 4 a.m. Her death was caused by blood loss due to numerous shallow wounds. There were bite marks on her shoulders as well as her tongue. The tongue was likely self-inflicted. Lesions were present on her wrists, ankles, and upper arms where she was bound, and we're still waiting on the drug test results to be ready. Also, within the last 12 hours, Laura had had sexual relations with at least 3 different men.
Who would do a thing like that?
Leo!
Huh. Cut to Leo? Interesting. Now, Leo is cleaning out his truck at home, and we're immediately suspicious because why is Leo cleaning out his truck? He's not the type of man to clean anything. He's the type of man to order his wife to clean everything. So what suspicious activity do you have going on in this truck? What are you hiding? Well, in his truck, he pulls out a load of laundry and he demands that his wife, Shelly, do it right now, despite the fact that Norma will be picking her up for work at any second. So anyways, Shelly takes it. She goes to put the load in the wash and she finds something concerning. Wait, check his clothes. Blood? And Shelly's smart. She decides to hide the shirt. She's not going to clean it. This could be evidence. Now it's time for Harry and Dale to question James, and James confesses that yes, it is him behind the camera in that video in the field of Laura and Donna. He also admits to being in a secret relationship, but it was only secret because Laura wanted to keep it that way. He thinks that probably she was afraid of Bobby because, yes, she was... This show is so crazy. She was in a relationship with Bobby, but she was also in a relationship with James, but she didn't want Bobby to know, even though Bobby shouldn't have an issue because he's also in a secret relationship with Shelly, who's married to Leo. Okay? But anyways, back to the questioning with James. He admits that yes, Laura was a user of cocaine, but James promises that he never touched the stuff and he was trying to get her to stop. And she did for a while, but then something happened a couple days ago. Something that scared her because she wouldn't see or talk to James until the night that she died. And James says she snuck out of her house around 9:30 p.m. About 12:30,
I stopped the bike at the light at Sparkwood and 21, and she jumped off and ran away.
They never fought, but she said that she couldn't see him anymore and she wouldn't say why. James also admits when asked that he does recognize the half-heart necklace, but he says he doesn't know who has the other half. He is not admitting to that.
I don't know.
Oh, I wish he'd just be honest about that side of it. They know that you guys were having an affair, so why hide the necklace part? Back to Leo. Unfortunately, he's realized that the bloody shirt that was in the bag of laundry he gave to Shelly, yeah, it's now missing, so that's great. He knows, and he knows Shelly knows, and he's upset. Oh, you didn't want that shirt in there? Idiot. Idiot. Now he knows she knows. Oh, shoot. That's scary for Shelly. Bobby and Mike are still sitting in that jail cell with nothing to do but talk, and Bobby confesses to Mike that he met with Leo on his own and paid him $10,000 in drug money, but that the $10K he gave him was only half, and Laura was supposed to pay him the other $10K, and obviously we know that the $10K he's talking about that Laura owed Leo is in her safety deposit box, but she was never able to deliver it because she died. So yeah, Mike and Bobby are both freaked out and afraid to deal with Leo because now they need to come up with $10,000 more that Laura was supposed to have for him. But now let's do a quick check-in on Donna, sweetheart Donna. She's at home and she has a heart-to-heart with her mom where she admits that of course she's sad about Laura's death, but it also feels like she's living a beautiful dream now because her and James have fallen in love.
We were the ones falling in love.
That's so interesting. So does that...
I feel like I've betrayed my best friend.
Yeah. I'd feel that way too if I were her, even if she's gone now. I think it makes sense for her to have fallen in love with James over the last couple months, but I thought James really loved Laura. Unless he was falling in love with both of them, if you believe in that being possible. Okay, girl, okay. Yeah, you guys made out in the woods last night, but I'm not sure if James is in love with you. So Ed shows up at the station and meets Dale for the first time. He's here to pick up James now that they are done questioning him. They're letting him go. And Ed tells Harry about last night and the scuffle at the Roadhouse. He thinks that the bartender, Jacques Renault, right here, he thinks drugged his drink because he passed out, Ed passed out before anyone even touched him in that fight. So that's odd. And when James comes out from the cell, they all are aware of the fact that Bobby and Mike are going to be released today as well, and they will probably come after James. So James asks his Uncle Ed if he could have the Bookhouse boys keep an eye out for him and watch his back. And Ed promises that he's already got it covered. So that's our first mention of the Bookhouse boys, which we will explore a little bit more deeply later on. And as far as Bobby and Mike being released, Dale makes sure to give them a good scare before doing so.
Pray for the health and safety of James Hurley, because if anything happens to him, we're coming for you.
I'm happy he said that. They probably won't care. They'll figure something out to get to James, but... Later that evening, Harry and Dale head over to Pete, Catherine, and Josie's place to ask Josie some questions. So they know that she, Miss Josie, had hired Laura Palmer to give her some English lessons. English is her second language. So Laura was visiting her twice a week for those lessons, and Josie tells them that the last time she saw Laura was on Thursday evening for one of those lessons, and she could tell that something was bothering her because Laura told her,
I think now I understand how you feel about Jasmine's death.
So, okay, Laura, like, who are you grieving? Why do you understand? Also, side note, Dale picks up immediately on the fact that Harry and Josie, remember Harry and Josie, they're seeing each other because he's the most perceptive man to ever exist.
So, Harry, how long have you been seeing her?
He knows everything. Love you, Dale. Tap, tap. In the middle of the questioning with Josie, Josie receives a call from Catherine, and Catherine's just giving her a call to rub it in her face that apparently yesterday the mill lost $87,000 due to Josie shutting it down early, blah, 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 because Josie made the decision, the executive decision to shut down the mill yesterday, and Catherine was pissed about it, but she did it because it was their own employee, Ronette Pulowski's dad, that worked there, and obviously the Ronette situation is really sad, and Laura's dead, and like she wanted to give everyone the day off because of all these traumatizing things that were happening, like Team Josie when it comes to that. But Catherine's like, we lost money, it's your fault, you suck. After the call, it's revealed that on the other end, Catherine is of course with Benjamin Horne, which we know they've been scheming together, but we realize now that it's not just business cahoots, it's also spicy affair cahoots happening between them. So are we surprised? No. Oh, and by the way, they want to burn the mill to the ground. Yeah, he wants that land, and he wants Josie to give it up. She won't want the land then. Then Donna decides to pay a visit to Sarah Palmer, and they connect with each other over how much they miss Laura, but the visit goes downhill when Sarah suddenly sees Laura's face in place of Donna's face, and then she is struck with a terrifying vision. Ew, what was that? Who was that man? Was that one of the torturers? Back at the hospital, Officer Hawk questions Ronette's parents about the day that she went missing. And apparently, that day, she went straight to her after-school job, which is at Ben Horne's department store, where she worked as a sales girl for the perfume counter. Hawk gets distracted when he notices a one-armed man exit an elevator and enter the morgue. But by the time Hawk makes it to the morgue, no one's there, so nothing really comes of that, but now that's two sightings of the one-armed man at the hospital. At the Great Northern, Ben confronts his daughter, Audrey, about how the Norwegians suspiciously all left the country after, as far as he heard through the grapevine, Audrey had ambushed the meeting that one of his workers was having with them, and Audrey's like, I mean, yeah, all I did was go in there and tell them that my close friend Laura Palmer had been brutally murdered. And Ben is so pissed. He screams at her. And then his grand final quote that really struck me, he goes,
I lost you years ago.
now we're gonna head on over to the R&R with Dale and Harry.
Agent Cooper here might want to try a slice of that pie.
Cherry pie.
Best in the Tri-Counties.
Dale meets Shelley and takes special interest in her and her husband's last name, Johnson, starting with a J. He's on that train of like, who is this J that Laura could have been referring to? We still don't know for sure if it was James. So cue Norma Jennings, another J, by the way, and he asks Norma about the Meals on Wheels program that Laura apparently was helping Norma with. So that's another connection for Laura and Norma.
Ms. Jennings, is it true that Laura Palmer used to help you with the Meals on Wheels program, delivering hot dinners to elderly
Oh my gosh, of course she did. And then he asks her to put together a list of names from Laura's route. Then, guess who walks over? None other than the iconic log lady. And she's like, hey, I heard you speaking about Laura Palmer. One day, my log will have something to say about this. My log saw something that night. And Dale asks, okay, what did it see? So the log lady encourages him to ask her log.
Ask it.
Ask it. Do it. Do it.
I thought so.
Oh, dang it. If you just asked the log. Now, unfortunately, it's time for Shelley to go home, and she is greeted with a pissed off Leo wanting to know what she did with his shirt. She doesn't confess to anything, so Leo ends up beating her with a bar of soap stuffed inside a very long sock. James and Donna are having a great night, though. He comes over for dinner and meets her parents, and they are just incredibly cute and smitten with each other and everything. And low-key, at this point, I was judging James for his behavior here and his switch up to Donna.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
I'm very curious about his mind here. Like, were you really in love with Laura if you're so now in love with Donna? Which is it? And the episode comes to an end in Dr. Jacoby's office at the hospital. Remember, weirdo Dr. Jacoby. He's listening to a tape given to him by Laura, and on it, Laura says, "Hey, what's up, Doc? It's Laura Palmer. I'm making you another one of these tapes," which, as you already know, I've mailed to you in one of the envelopes you gave me. It's Thursday the 23rd.
And I'm so bored. Actually, I'm in kind of a weird mood. James is sweet, but he's so dumb.
I should have met you a long time ago, Dr. Jacoby, because right now I can take just so much sweet. I just know I'm going to get lost in those woods again tonight. I just know it. Remember me telling you about the mystery man? Well, and then we get a ... because we don't get to hear the rest of the tape. Dr. Jacoby has put on his headphones, and now the tape is for his ears only. But do you know what he does next? He cracks open a coconut, because what doctor doesn't have a palm tree in their office? And inside that coconut is the other half-heart necklace, and he starts to cry. So is he the one that stole James's half in the forest? Or did he steal Laura's half out of evidence? We do not know for sure, but we're highly suspicious and concerned when it comes to Dr. Jacoby. It's time for a Horn family dinner. Audrey, her father Ben, her mother Sylvia, her brother Johnny, but that's not all, because guess who's back from Paris and crashes the party? Jerry Horn, Ben's brother, Audrey's uncle, and he brought back sandwiches, apparently the best he's ever had. Oh, this show makes me hungry. If it's not donuts, it's sandwiches. Out in the hall, Ben fills Jerry in. He tells him, hey, so Leland's daughter was murdered and the Norwegians left. Both of these things make Jerry very depressed, but Ben's like, hey, no, don't worry, there's a new girl at One-Eyed Jack's, freshly scented from the perfume counter, and you have a 50-50 chance of being the first in line. From the perfume counter, you say, okay, we've heard that before, that's where Ronette worked before being kidnapped and tortured. So yes, Jerry and Ben go to One-Eyed Jack's. It is a casino, bar, brothel situation in Canada, just across the border, and the brothers flip a coin to decide who gets first dibs on this new girl. And Ben wins, of course. There's just a lot of sinister, dark energy here. But Laura didn't work here, right? I think I might be taking too big of a leap in assumption based on how they were talking earlier. Too big of an assumption, right. Donna's parents are up to bed and she's left downstairs talking to James. They both admit to wanting each other even when Laura was alive, but they both felt like they couldn't act on their feelings because of Laura. And Donna asks James, are we gonna be together?
Are we gonna be together, James?
You better. I mean, you are. Look at you guys. Girlie's got to break up with her boyfriend, Mike. I keep forgetting she literally has a boyfriend. He didn't answer her. Now over to Dale in his room at the Great Northern. Okay. He gets a call from Hawk, informing him that Ronette apparently recently quit her job at the perfume counter, and also tells him about that one-armed man that he saw in the hospital. Then Dale receives a knock at his door, and out in the hallway finds a note that says, Jack with one eye. Next we cut over to a drug deal in the woods involving Mike, Bobby, Leo, and a creepy hunchman of Leo's that remains in the shadows. Leo hands over some cocaine, but not the full amount that Mike and Bobby were promised, which isn't a surprise because, hey, they still owe Leo 10 grand. Oh, and Leo tells Bobby that he found out that Shelly is cheating on him.
Find out your old lady's been giving it away. Yeah?
He knows that for sure. I know he had suspicions. Oh my god, but he doesn't know it was Bobby. And Bobby's like, oh, man, really? Like, what? That sucks, man. So do you know with who? Like, do you know with who, though? Like, who do you know? And lucky for Bobby, Leo does not know. Now, Ed got into a bit of a mess at the gas station, and he's covered in grease. So he goes home to clean up, and Nadine is working out on her rowing machine, but she stops and screams at him when he accidentally steps on her silent drape runner cotton ball invention, spilling grease on it accidentally. And she gets so upset that she does this. What the hell? Why does she have super strength? Oh, donuts! Now it's time to go on a field trip into the woods with Dale, Harry, Andy, Hawk, and Lucy, the whole FBI police squad. And here's how Dale kicks things off.
I am first going to tell you a little bit about the country called Tibet.
Okay. So Dale is interested in the history of Tibet, specifically the history that led to the exile of the Dalai Lama in 1959. Now, he had an emotional dream about this history, and when he woke up, he realized that he had, quote, gained knowledge of a deductive technique involving mind-body coordination, operating hand-in-hand with the deepest level of intuition. So it's time to demonstrate this technique. He reminds the group of Laura's diary entry where she talks about being nervous about meeting someone referred to as Jay, and on a blackboard, he created a list of names that started with that letter that are connected to Laura. Now, they've set up a bottle on a tree trunk 60 feet and 6 inches away from where Dale will be throwing rocks at it. For each rock thrown, Harry will read out a name on the blackboard and their relation to Laura. If Dale strikes the bottle with his throw, Lucy will put a check mark next to that name. So up first, we have James Hurley, the secret boyfriend. The rock doesn't hit. Okay. Then we do Dr. Lawrence Jacoby. Okay? Laura's psychiatrist. We get a hit. Dale hits the bottle. However, the bottle does not shatter. Next, we have Johnny Horn. Laura was his special education teacher. Remember, Johnny is Audrey's brother. No hit. Next up, Norma Jennings, helping with Meals on Wheels. No hit. Shelley Johnson, waitress at the diner and Laura's friend. No hit. Then we have listed Jack with one eye, and Harry stops Dale, and he tells him that's not a person, that's actually a casino called One-Eyed Jack's, and it's not too far north, or just across the border. So good to know, no throw necessary here, and finally the last throw, we take a crack at Leo Johnson. Connection to Laura unknown, but we have our suspicions. Dale throws the rock. Oh, what does that mean? So it broke for Leo, but it touched for Jacoby. Donna and her parents stop in at the R&R for some lunch after church when Miss Audrey Horn strolls in. She takes a seat at the counter and she orders coffee black. And when Donna goes over and talks to her, Audrey asks, "Did Laura ever talk about my father?" Speaking of Benjamin Horn. What? Odd question. Why would Laura talk about your father? Is there another connection we need to be worried about? Donna's also confused. She's like, what do you mean? And Audrey says, he used to sing to her. And then she just gets up and starts dancing to a jazzy song on the jukebox. So that's the end of that conversation. At the police station, Harry shows Dale a bloody rag that Hawk found about a half-mile down the tracks from the crime scene, at the train car crime scene. And while they're inspecting that, guess who has rolled into town? Albert Rosenfield, FBI. Forensics genius, according to Dale. But Dale does warn Harry about one thing when it comes to Albert Rosenfield.
Albert's lacking in some of the social niceties.
That's okay.
Albert is perfect. Isn't that the truth?
The hell? warning was warranted because Albert comes across as like pretty blunt and honestly just a rude man, and that causes immediate tension between him and Harry, especially when Albert starts judging like how Harry runs things in this town. But whatever, Albert is eager to get started on his own forensic testing on Laura's body before she gets buried at her funeral, which is in 24 hours. Now Ed gets home to Nadine, and you know, it's the usual, honey, I'm home, oh, I've missed you routine. You know them.
Ed, is that you?
Oh my God.
Honey, it's me.
Ed!
Oh my God.
Divorce her! But it turns out Nadine is actually overcome with excitement. She tried the grease-covered cotton balls that Ed accidentally created, and it turns out that they were a blessing in disguise. Wow, that is very, very quiet. That night, Pete and Catherine are getting ready for bed when Catherine slips into the bathroom for a moment, and Pete hurriedly grabs a key and meets Josie in the hallway. It's a key to the safe that holds the Mills ledger. Oh, and by the way, the couples in this town that need divorces, it's just like, it's through the roof. It's through the roof at this point for me.
I didn't want to get mink oil on my bedspread.
Okay, I'm happy he can give it back. He can give it back. He's helping Josie on the side.
You've got mink oil on your head.
Oh my gosh. Get a divorce. Get a divorce. Anyway, when Josie breaks open that safe, she not only finds one ledger, but two. So one has to be the real one and one has to be the fake one. Next up, we get a very chilling scene of Leland dancing with Laura's photograph. Both he and Sarah are just not coping well with their daughter's death, which, like, what parent would, especially under these circumstances? Oh my God. What a chilling sight. Oh, and this POV and his wailing. Now it's time for the most iconic sequence of season 1. It's time. Dale is going to sleep in his room at the Great Northern and he has a dream. A lot of random imagery flashes at the start. Oh, the man again! I don't like... Oh, what was that? What was that? Then we see the one-armed man, and he says, through the darkness of future pasts, the magician longs to see.
One chance out between two worlds. Fire.
Fire, walk with me!
With me.
Ew, that's what was written at the site. He explains that he too has come in contact with the Devilish One. They've even lived together at one point. The Devilish One left a mark on him in the form of a tattoo on this man's arm, and that is why he had to cut it off to free himself from the devil. In Dale's dream, the one-armed man introduces himself as Mike, and he claims that the Devilish One's name is Bob. And we see Bob. He's fucking terrifying.
I will kill again.
Still in the dream, we cut to a room with red curtains. Dale is sitting in a chair, but he looks much older. And then this is also happening. Ew, I don't like that. And guess who else is in the room? Hello. The little man in the red suit stops convulsing and then turns to Laura and Dale and goes, "Let's rock." Of course. The little man and Laura both speak in this dream, and when they do, their voices sound distorted. The actors were literally speaking backwards, and then the audio was played forward again to sound in order. But the video is still backwards, and it makes everything look so, like, odd and surreal and uncomfortable. But anyway, the little man takes a seat in a chair between where Dale and Laura are seated. And Laura looks at Dale and touches her finger to the side of her nose, and then a shadow starts making its way across the red curtains behind them. Okay. Was that the devil? Then the little man starts talking. He tells Dale, "I've got good news. The gum that you like is going to come back in style." Okay, that's great, yeah. Then he looks at Laura and says she's my cousin, but doesn't she almost exactly look like Laura Palmer? Dale's like, that is Laura Palmer. Like, I can see that is Laura Palmer. But then he asks Laura for clarification, "Are you Laura Palmer?" And Laura answers,
I feel quiet. No, sometimes my arms bend back.
The little man adds, "Where we're from, the birds sing a pretty song, and there's always music in the air." Then some iconic Twin Peaks jazz music kicks in, and the little man starts to dance, and Laura stands up, and she walks on over to Dale, and she kisses him. Oh, Okay. Then she whispers in his ear, but we can't hear what she says. Dale suddenly gasps awake, and he immediately calls Harry.
I know who killed Laura Palmer.
What? And Harry on the other end is like, wait, what? Do we need to meet right now? We should meet right now. But Dale insists that it can wait until morning. No biggie, it can wait. It can wait. What the fuck? It's the day of Laura Palmer's funeral, and we're dropped in on breakfast at the Great Northern Lobby. Audrey's waiting patiently for Agent Cooper to show up and ends up grabbing a table with him. Dale asks her to write her name down for him, and he ends up matching her handwriting to the handwriting from the anonymous note he was given that said Jack with one eye. And she tells him, like, yeah, that was her. She just really wanted to help him. Not particularly because she cared too much about Laura Palmer, but more because she has a huge crush on Mr. Dale Cooper. And you know what? I can't blame her. I can't. Harry and Lucy arrive for breakfast, so Audrey takes her leave and Dale fills Harry and Lucy in on his dream from last night. And then when he finally gets to the part where apparently Laura whispered the killer's name in his ear.
I don't remember.
Are you kidding? But he believes that his dream is a code waiting to be cracked, that can be cracked. Breakfast is interrupted when Hawk calls Harry and tells him that a fight has broken out at the morgue. Dr. Hayward and Agent Rosenfield are getting into it because Rosenfield has some pretty intense tests that he wants to perform on Laura's body, and he's telling Hayward that the body won't be ready for the funeral today. Like, there's too much he needs and wants to do to crack this case. But Hayward is insistent that they need to put Laura's body to rest as planned. Ben Horne is also there for some reason, trying to mediate in the absence of Leland, who finds the morgue too upsetting to be in, understandably, that's his daughter. When Harry and Dale show up, Dr. Hayward fills them in, and Rosenfield is hoping that Dale will back him up and understand that these townspeople are hindering the investigation. And low-key, I kind of agree. But Rosenfield also makes it clear that he doesn't care what Harry has to say despite the badge on his chest. Like, he's just being rude again. And after some name calling, Harry ends up punching Rosenfield in the face. Dale steps in then, and he's the one to start mediating now, telling Harry to go wait outside. And then he tells Agent Rosenfield that he needs to complete the tests by noon and have Laura's body ready for her funeral, and that's an order, and that's the end of the conversation. And you know what? Whatever you say, Agent Cooper. At the Palmer residence, the doorbell rings, and the stay-in nurse taking care of both Sarah and Leland through their grief, she's the one to answer it. And guess who's in town?
Uncle Leland.
Hello? Enter Madeline Ferguson. She's here for Laura's funeral and, of course, devastated about Laura's murder. Oh, and she looks identical to Laura. And remember in the dream, the girl who looked like Laura Palmer and the little man was like, oh, that's my cousin. Hello? Is there something more to that? Like, she's got to be part of the code, right? At R&R, Norma meets with Hank's parole officer. Remember, her husband is in jail for manslaughter. He's been a model prisoner, apparently. Great. And his parole hearing is tomorrow. If everything goes smoothly, he'll be out of jail soon, which I'm sure would just be fantastic for everyone. I'm sure he is just a great guy. Harry and Dale head to Leo's place for some questioning.
How well did you know her? I said I didn't. You're lying.
He's so smug. Leo also claims to have an alibi for the night of Laura's death. I'm guessing he's gonna say he was driving.
I called my wife Shelley around that time from Butte,
on the road
Montana.
doing what? Nah, he's lying about that because when her and Bobby pulled up, they were shocked that he was home so early. So I'm sure he told Shelley, yeah, I'm gonna be in Butte, Montana. He wasn't. Now it's time to go over to Albert Rosenfield's findings. He tells Dale and Harry the following. The residue in Laura's diary has officially been tested as cocaine, as we suspected. There was also cocaine found in her system. 2 different kinds of twine fibers were found embedded in her wrists and upper arms. There were matching twine fibers in the train car as well as on Ronette Pulowski. Hence, Rosenfield concludes that on the night of her murder, Laura was tied up twice at 2 different locations.
Like this.
Sometimes my arms bend back.
Oh. Also, tiny claw marks and bites were found on Laura's neck and shoulders, suggesting an animal of some kind. And finally, a small plastic fragment from her stomach, partially dissolved by her digestive acids, was recovered. So they'll be running tests to figure out what that little piece of plastic is, but Rosenfield points out the letter J is visible into the naked eye on this piece of plastic. Now everybody's getting ready for Laura's funeral, donning their black tie attire, and Nadine is feeling very sentimental about Ed at the moment. She says that last night he came back to her after they've been distant for some time.
I always knew inside, once you got to know me, we'd be together forever.
I give him 3 more episodes. Then we hear a motorcycle roll up outside and Nadine's like, "Who's that?" And Ed tells her it's just James.
James who?
His nephew? James has shown up to tell Ed that he can't go to the funeral. He can't bring himself to do it. It's just too hard to face. I can't say I blame him. I also hate funerals. Over at the Great Northern, the Horn parents are trying to get Johnny out of his Native American headdress that he wears 24/7 for some reason. And they had to call Dr. Jacoby to try and help and like coax him out of it and get him ready for the funeral. Audrey sneaks into a secret Coraline style door in the wall that allows her to then travel inside the walls of the Great Northern, where apparently peepholes are stationed, completely sporadically in a lot of the rooms. And she peeps into the room where Dr. Jacoby is trying to help Johnny, and the energy is just very odd.
Oh my God. All right, let's everyone just get into the car.
What is happening? Now it's burial time. A pastor gives a nice speech about Laura. James does end up showing up, by the way. He just stays at a bit of a distance. Bobby notices that James is here and he looks like he's ready to murder him right here in the cemetery. And then when the pastor finishes his speech, Bobby screams out, "Amen!" And like he's very dramatic about it. And he has a little speech of his own to give. He calls everyone standing there a hypocrite, saying that everyone knew Laura was in trouble before her death and no one did anything about it. He's pissed about everyone pretending to be good people when at the end of the day, quote, "we all killed Laura Palmer." And you know what? Props to Bobby for this. This moment actually made me like him for the first time in the entire show. James does not appreciate this though. He runs over and he's about to start throwing hands. Adults have to hold Bobby and James back from each other to keep that from happening. And then the casket gets lowered by this like machine in the ground and Leland jumps in after it. And he just cries and holds on to it. He cannot let go of his daughter. And the machine starts going haywire, like rising and falling, rising and falling. And Leland is just sobbing and won't let go of the casket and it's just a mess.
My baby.
Oh my God, this is wild. Ed, Hawk, and Harry all invite Dale to the R&R with them for a slice of pie that night, and Norma's waitressing, so you know what that means.
Big Ed, how long you been in love with Norma?
Harry decides to fill Dale in on a case that they've been working on for the past 6 months now. So someone is running drugs across the Canadian border into Twin Peaks. They suspect Roadhouse bartender Jacques Renault. Ed was actually doing some undercover at the Roadhouse the day that Dale came into town, which is when they believe that Renault drugged Ed. We knew this already, but Dale's just now finding out that, like, who Jacques is and Jacques possibly drugging Ed and possibly being a drug dealer, all that kind of stuff. Now, Harry tells Dale to stay with him here, but there's just something different about Twin Peaks.
Something very, very strange in these old woods.
What? Wait, are we gonna get super monster in the woods supernatural? He refers to it as some sort of darkness or presence. It takes many forms, but it's been out there for as long as anyone can remember. And there's a secret society that has been passed down from generation to generation. They call themselves the Bookhouse Boys. Here's that explanation of who the Bookhouse Boys are. They just fight the darkness in this town, like whatever that means. There's an actual meeting place called the Bookhouse, which looks like this very dingy library bar in a clubhouse very near to the Roadhouse. And they take Dale there, where James and Joey being that biker who took Donna to James, they're both waiting there for them, and they have a man tied up and ready for questioning. This man is Bernard Renault, Jacques' younger brother. He came across the border this morning with an ounce of cocaine in his kit bag, and of course Bernard doesn't admit to dealing drugs or working with Jacques in the drug business, nothing like that. He says the cocaine was just for personal use. But outside the Roadhouse, Jacques is walking down the road and he sees a red light blinking on the roof of the Roadhouse, which freaks him out. So he runs to the nearest payphone and he calls Leo, telling him that the warning light is on, which means they're in trouble and he needs Leo to get him out of here. Leo's at home receiving the call and rushes to leave immediately just as Shelley is arriving home for the night. So with Leo gone, she quickly hides her latest purchase. Ooh. You know what? Smart. Harry and Josie meet that night at her lodge, and she's aware that Catherine and Ben are working together. She tells Harry she thinks that they'll do anything to take the mill away from her so that Ben can have the land, and she actually also fears for her safety. She's like, they might also kill me, honestly.
Catherine and Benjamin Horn.
Okay, at least you know that. You can get ahead of this.
What makes you think so?
Catherine on the phone. Saying.
Just kidding, we're not ahead of it. Josie's thinking too, based on Catherine and Ben's behavior, that maybe her husband's death last year wasn't an accident. She tries to show Harry the 2 ledgers in the safe, but when she opens it, now there's only one in there. So where did the other one go? Yeah, she's got the real one on her now. Everything is glued down. Dale visits the cemetery that night and sees Dr. Jacoby visiting Laura's grave with some flowers after missing out on the funeral. And Dr. Jacoby confesses that he's a bad person, and despite being the town psychiatrist, he literally just doesn't give a shit about the people in this town or their stupid ass problems. But, he says, with Laura, that changed. With Laura, he cared. And he hopes that she can forgive him for not being able to face her funeral. At the hotel restaurant, there's music blasting and people mingling and dancing. Dale and Hawk are seated and talking about the existence of souls. Hawk believes that there are waking souls that provide life to the earthly existence, and then there are dream souls that wander and travel to the land of the dead. Cut to Leland on the dance floor looking very out of it. He starts dancing, but he really wants someone to dance with him, and when nobody will because he's kind of scaring them, he has a bit of a breakdown. Dale and Hawk walk over and comfort him and decide to help him get home for the night. He needs to just go home. So that's that. At the Palmer residence, Sarah tells Harry about the visions that she's had, one involving a man with long gray hair. They start a police sketch based on her description, and it's coming together pretty well. It looks accurate. Then she also tells them about the vision that she had with like the gloved hand picking up a rock in the woods and taking one of Laura's half-heart necklaces. Now, Donna's here for some reason during this questioning, and she hears that and she's like, oh shit. At the station, Lucy and Andy are in a spat. They often are, and Andy never understands why.
Why couldn't I spend the night last night?
Oh.
Will you be having coffee, Deputy Brennan?
Oh, they're fighting. Dale has decided that it's finally time to bring in Dr. Jacoby for questioning. Thank God. Oh, you can do magic. Oh. That's nice. Dr. Jacoby is most unhelpful and refusing to just give any straightforward answers. He claims it's because of a personal investigation of his that he wants to keep his cards close to his chest for. He does deny that he and Laura ever had a sexual nature to their relationship, thank God, but there is one little nugget he decides to give us. He says, "The night after Laura died, I followed a man that Laura had spoken to me about. He was driving a red Corvette. I followed him to the old Sawmill Road, and then I lost him."
And that, gentleman, is all I can tell you.
Okay, we just gotta look around for a red Corvette. Then Dale receives a call from his boss, Gordon Cole, which he puts on speaker with Harry in the room after Jacoby leaves. Cole tells him that they found a match for the twine used on Laura's upper arms, a common drugstore twine called Finley's Fine Twine. They've also determined that the little bites on Laura's body were caused by a bird of some kind. Lastly, Harry and Dale should expect to receive a fax soon of a reconstruction of the plastic fragment found in Laura's stomach. Oh, and side note, Albert Rosenfield would like to press charges on Harry and get him to step down as sheriff of Twin Peaks after he got punched in the face. But Dale's like, yeah, okay, so that's not happening. And then he hangs up. Andy then comes in and shows Harry and Dale the finished sketch of the long, gray-haired man. And just as Dale, of course, suspected, it's the same man, Bob, from his dream. Then they receive an important call from Officer Hawk.
How long will it take us to reach the Timber Falls Motel?
Half an
10
hour.
minutes.
Depends how you go.
Hawk's found our one-armed man.
At the motel already? Over at the motel, someone's already on a stakeout, and it's not Hawk. It's Josie Packard. And she doesn't give a crap about the one-armed man, so why is she here? Well, Ben and Catherine are here, and they are shacking up in a motel room together right now, and they're scheming about burning down the mill, as they always do, and of course they're putting the motel bed to use as well. But when Ben is leaving, a poker chip falls out of his pocket, and Catherine takes a closer look. It says One-Eyed Jack's, and Catherine knows of this casino, and she is not pleased. She knows what goes on at that casino, and it's much more than gambling. So anyways, Harry, Dale, and Andy arrive, arrive, and Hawk brings them over to room 101 of the motel, the room that the one-armed man is supposedly staying in. So they knock on the door, and then... Andy! They end up having to break into the room because they don't get an answer, and inside, we meet Mr. Gerard, the one-armed man, just standing there in a towel, clearly fresh out of the shower, and he's like, hello? They show him the sketch of the long gray-haired man, and Mr. Gerard says that he doesn't recognize him. He's never seen this man before. He does, however, have a friend named Bob, and he's currently in a coma at the hospital, which is why Mr. Gerard has been frequenting the hospital to visit his friend. Apparently, his friend Bob is the best veterinarian in the county. Also, Andy notices a suitcase in the motel room and finds it completely full of singular right foot shoes. So Mr. Gerard is a shoe salesman, and he says he lost his arm because of a car accident. They do ask him if he had a tattoo on it. He did.
It said,
Fire walk with me.
Mom.
Oh. This is awkward now. In the high school bathroom, Audrey gets Donna alone and is like, hey, so Agent Dale Cooper, he's gonna fall in love with me when I help him crack Laura's case. And Donna, you're gonna help me do it. Audrey's like, here's what I got so far. Laura was in a secret relationship with James, and she had a weakness for nose candy. And Donna's like, yeah, okay, everybody knows that by now. Like, that's nothing new. But Audrey keeps going. She says, I overheard the way Dr. Jacoby was talking to my brother when he was trying to get him ready for Laura's funeral. And I could tell that Laura must have been seeing him too. Also, One-Eyed Jacks, ever heard of it? Women work there. What if Laura did too? Both her and Ronette worked for my dad's department store at the perfume counter. That can't be a coincidence, right? Catch you later. And Donna's just left standing there like, damn, okay, Audrey. Okay, now it's time for Hank, Norma's husband's parole hearing. And Norma does show up and back him up like he wants her to. I believe she's just scared of him and wants to comply. So yes, unfortunately, the meeting does go well. It looks like he'll be released soon. There's also this interesting, clearly very important shot where they show Hank toying with a domino. Oh. Why is that domino important?
We'll let you know.
Why does he have a domino? Harry and Dale visit the local veterinarian clinic owned by Mr. Gerard's friend, Bob.
No.
Dale is confident that the bird that attacked Laura Palmer has to have been from this office, and he tells the receptionist that they're going to have to confiscate all of their files. All of them, right now. Cut to Bobby and Shelley making out at her house. Oh my god, I cannot believe they're doing this at her house. How are they not terrified? Bobby tells her that he's gonna find James and set him straight for seeing Laura behind his back. And then he asks if Leo's gonna be back soon.
I can hear his vet a mile away.
Red Corvette? Apparently, Leo, is with his friend Jacques right now, according to Shelley, and that surprises Bobby. He seems to be putting some things together in his brain, and he's like, okay, wait, Shelley, I gotta tell you something. I think Leo and Jacques have been running drugs across the border.
I knew it. I knew Leo was messed up in something.
She didn't know. I didn't realize she didn't know.
Giving drugs to Laura.
You think it's possible? You knew that, what? You knew that Laura owed Leo $10K. Shelley also shows Bobby Leo's bloody shirt. It's got his initials sewn into the collar, so there's no mistaking it's his. And Bobby's thrilled with this evidence. He takes the shirt and tells Shelley to just forget about it. He's gonna take care of it. At R&R, Shelley and Norma bond over their scary husbands and their lovers on the side, and they promise to have a girls' day tomorrow to clear their minds. But Norma's gonna have a hard time of that, because shortly after making those plans, she receives a call telling her that her husband Hank is officially out on parole. We knew it was coming. James comes into the R&R and uses one of their payphones because Donna's been trying to reach him. She tells him that Audrey talked to her at school that day and she knew a bunch of things about Laura, and then also she just really needs to talk to him, like she has a lot to fill him in on. So he's like, okay, I'll come over soon, and then he hangs up before getting immediately distracted when Maddie Ferguson walks into R&R to pick up food for Sarah and Leland. Maddie Ferguson, the cousin that looks just like Laura, and you know what he's thinking.
Laura was my cousin.
Yep.
James Hurley.
Oh god, is he gonna fall in love with her? Well, of course he is. She looks just like Laura and seems like the nicest girl in the world, so yeah, this is about to get pretty messy. Now, Audrey goes to her dad, trying to have a heart-to-heart because she really wants to make him proud and pull her life together and be a hard worker just like him.
I've decided I want to help you with the family business.
She's so smart. Be your sneaky, sneaky investigator self. She suggests starting out working in cosmetics, perhaps at her dad's department store. So yes, we need to do some perfume counter sleuthing. And her dad buys the act. Hook, line, and sinker. Let's go, Audrey. At the station, Andy, Dale, and Harry are sorting through the files of the pet patients at the vet clinic, trying to sort through specifically all the birds. And Dale receives another call from his boss. He tells him the reconstruction of the plastic object in Laura's system is officially being faxed over, and they've also determined that the bird bites were likely caused by a parrot or a mynah bird. So they immediately check out the fax, and it looks like the object in Laura's stomach was a piece of a poker chip with the letter J, and that J is part of the logo for One-Eyed Jacks. Also, Andy, he finds a file for a mynah bird at this vet clinic that is owned by none other than Jacques Renault. So Hawk, Dale, and Harry decide to make an unannounced house call over to Jacques' place. They knock on the door, but Jacques isn't inside. Guess who is, though? Bobby Briggs. What is Bobby doing at Jacques' place? Well, he is currently actively planting Leo Johnson's bloody shirt in Jacques' house, and he manages to escape out the window just before our police crew break in. Once inside, they find Leo's bloody shirt, and now they can confirm that the trail leads back to Leo as suspected. Now, cut to a red Corvette in the middle of the woods. Yes, it's confirmed, Leo has a red Corvette. He's the man that Laura would talk a lot about to Dr. Jacoby. And he's meeting with Benjamin Horne, because Benjamin Horne schemes with everybody. Ben gives him a speech about how Leo could be doing so much better than working in drug circles with glue sniffers, referring to the Renault brothers. And Leo's like, don't worry, I've got a handle on them. And then he refers to a body bag nearby.
This is Bernie. Jacques back in Canada. We had a long talk. He's staying there.
So yeah, Leo killed Bernard right after Bernard just made bail that morning on possession charges. Finally though, Ben and Leo do get to the meat of the conversation at hand. The reason they're meeting tonight. Ben is hiring Leo to burn down the sawmill and to leave behind, like purposefully leave behind, signs of arson. Meanwhile, Donna and James travel back to the spot in the woods where they buried his half of the necklace to find that yes, it is in fact missing, just like Sarah's vision. And James asks like how Sarah could have a vision like that, and I'm sitting here like, I don't know. I'm also asking that.
Laura used to say her mother was kind of spooky. She used to see things.
Always was. Oh.
Laura did too.
Oh, Laura did too? Donna promises James that they will figure out who did this, they'll figure out who killed Laura, and when they do, they can then just move on and be together and be happy. I don't know if James really loves her the way that Donna seems to love James. I think he's into her. I think he finds her attractive. I think he has fun kissing her on rendezvous in the woods, but I'm not sure. I don't think he's over Laura. Harry calls Josie that night asking why she was staking out the motel earlier that day. Hawk had spotted Josie and he filled in Harry. But Josie evades the question, evades the conversation, and hangs up on him. So that's weird. What does she have to hide? Then when Josie's going through her mail, there's an envelope with a picture drawn inside of it just for her, and it's a domino. Obviously, the first thing we're thinking here is, hey, Hank had a domino at his hearing. Is this from Hank? What connection would Hank and Josie have together?
Catch you later.
What the hell? Were they having an affair? What? And that's a wrap on episode 5. Dale wakes up in his bedroom at 4:28 a.m. to the sound of new Icelandic guests singing a loud, jaunty tune. Yes, these are now possible Icelandic investors that Ben Horne is hoping will go along with the whole Ghostwood Estates project on the sawmill land. Anyway, Cooper isn't pleased with the racket, and by the time he makes it down to the lobby for breakfast, he's tired and in desperate need of coffee. Audrey's always there. She makes sure to walk over and say hi as usual. She tries to tell him about her new job at her dad's department store, store, and like she wants to discuss her undercover plans with him, but he cuts her off and says he's running late. He only has time for some quick coffee, and then he goes on his way. He does not hear her out. Jerry, Benjamin Horne's brother, skips into Ben's office, and he's been having a great time partying with these Icelandic investors. And apparently he's also in love with one of the Icelandic women.
You see what she gave me? An entire
What is
leg
that?
of lamb.
Jerry,
Is that beautiful?
Jerry, come on.
What?
A leg of lamb? I like the French bread sandwiches more. Leland Palmer shows up looking completely disoriented, but he heard that new investors were here and he wants to just be at work like normal. Ben, however, just tells him to go home and rest, like he's just still in no fit state for anything. Dale shows up at Jacques' house, which at this point has a search warrant, and the whole police squad is taking their time checking it out, because Jacques has now been missing for 2 days, and it's looking suspicious. Dr. Hayward is with them, and he gets word from his colleagues that the blood on Leo's shirt that they found in Jacques' apartment, it is not a match for Laura. However, it could be a match for Jacques. Dale finds a copy of Flesh World magazine taped to the ceiling for some reason, and inside there's a bookmarked tab with Leo's truck on it. He also finds an envelope in the magazine with a post office box address that he assumes belongs to Jacques and was used for Jacques to receive any mail through the magazine. So this particular envelope seems to be a bit of fan mail meant for Ronette, and it contains a picture of a man dressed in women's lingerie. I don't know why he thought Ronette would be wanting that, but okay. So what we're basically taking from this is that Jacques was in charge of posting these ads of underage girls in the magazine, and he was receiving the mail that gross men around the country would send in for them. I'm scared to assume that these men would actually meet up with the girls, which was also likely run by Jacques. Where does Leo fit into all of this? We wouldn't know because he's also missing now, and the police are out looking for him as well. Bobby and Shelley are playing house at her place while Leo is who knows where when Officer Andy pulls up. Bobby tells Shelley to tell him everything that they talked about. So she does, and she answers the door and tells Andy that right before Laura's death, she heard Leo talking to this guy named Jacques, and then he left and was gone all night. And they seem to be arguing about Laura before they drove off together. So obviously Andy is like, oh my god, like this is good to know, and he tells her to give the station a call as soon as she hears from Leo. Once Andy's gone, Bobby and Shelley start making out again, but they are interrupted by a phone call.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Leo.
He just wants to know if anyone has stopped by looking for him, and of course, Shelley plays dumb.
Yeah, everything's fine, Leo. Come on home.
I honestly could see Shelley killing Leo before Bobby did. I don't know what that says about my opinion of either of them. I'm just being honest. Norma visits Ed at work while Nadine is out of town for the day and tells him that her husband Hank is now officially out on parole. She also tells him that she's deciding to stay with him now that he's out. Ed gets it and he accepts her decision.
You don't have to explain.
Have you said anything to Nadine yet?
Of course not.
Haven't yet.
Yep. So with Hank out on parole and given Nadine's mental health clearly deteriorating, they actually decide that it would be better to call off their affair. So that's the end of that, apparently. Now it's time for Audrey's orientation interview with the manager at the department store, Emery. He thinks that she should start out in the gift wrapping department, but she's like, I think I would excel at the perfume counter. Emery tries to push back, but she's not having it.
Emery, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna put me to work this afternoon behind the perfume counter. Because if you don't, and tell my father that you made a pass at me.
You know what?
To clear things up for you?
Do what you gotta do. Donna meets James at some random gazebo after James apparently left her a note, like telling her to meet him, and she was really worried. It seemed like something was off here. But really, James is just in his feels and wants to confess some truths about himself that he hasn't with her before. So he tells her that his dad didn't actually die when he was 10 years old. He was a musician and just ran out on him and his mom. And then also his mom is an alcoholic and she skips town a lot to go on binges. So Donna hears all of this and is like, that's okay. Like, I don't look at you any differently. He really thought she would, and she doesn't, and it's fine. She accepts all of this, I guess, family baggage that comes with him. Back at Jacques' place, they get the confirmation that Jacques was, in fact, the owner of the P.O. box address on the magazine letters. So, just as they suspected, and they were able to attain the content currently sitting in that P.O. box. So there are more letters, some of them responding to a different ad, and they trace that ad back in the magazine and find Laura's ad. And in Laura's picture in the background are red drapes. This aligns with another picture in the house that Dale found, a cabin in the woods where red drapes can be seen through the window. And obviously there were red drapes in his dream, so we know it's important.
Jock's brother said something about a place up near the state line.
Fellas, let's pack a lunch.
Oh my god.
We're taking a walk in the woods.
In the woods? That's where the evil lives. I'm nervous. That's good though. This is great progress that we're like gonna find the place where they were apparently prostituting young girls. Donna and James invite Madeline to lunch at R&R and fill her in on their personal investigation to track down Laura's killer. And they tell her that they need her help. Laura told Donna that there was a secret hiding place somewhere in her house, and they want Maddie to help them find that place. And Maddie is like, okay, I'm down.
The day before she died, I had a feeling that Laura was in trouble.
Weird. Eventually, Donna, James, and Maddie take their leave to talk elsewhere, but unfortunately, Hank was in the next booth over listening to everything that they just said. Now, Bobby's parents are taking him in with them to see Dr. Jacoby for some family counseling, but really it's just for Bobby. They were just worried about him. So Dr. Jacoby asks to speak to Bobby alone, and he asks him about his time with Laura. By the end of the conversation, Bobby admits that he feels like Laura wanted to die, and that she was harboring a dark secret that possibly led to those thoughts.
She wanted so much. She made me sell drugs so she could have.
Oh. Now our little police squad guys and Dale are out looking for this cabin near the border with the red drapes inside. And one of the cabins they sneak up on to inspect ends up belonging to, you won't guess, Log Lady. She's very important.
Come on then. My log does not judge.
They stop in by her for some tea and cookies, because why wouldn't you? And she says it's good to talk inside because the owls won't be watching. Also, she's been expecting them. They're actually 2 days late. So anyways, she gives Dale the opportunity to ask the log again what it saw the night of Laura's death.
You can ask it now.
Do it. You better do it. What did you see? The log lady translates the log's answer. Dark, laughing, the owls were flying. Many things were blocked. Laughing.
2 men.
Oh.
2 girls.
2 girls, Ronnie and Laura. Flashlights pass by the woods over the ridge. The owls are near. The dark was pressing in on her. Quiet then. Later, footsteps. 1 man passed by. Screams far away. Terrible, terrible. 1 voice, girl. Further up, over the ridge, the owls were silent. So 2 men and then a separate 3rd man, it seems, were involved in Laura's fate that night. The search continues for the red-curtained cabin, and they actually find it. No, that's it. But it looks like it's been abandoned. The red curtains are still up. Oh my god. There's also a record spinning, playing music inside, and Dale recalls back to what that little man told him in the dream, where we're from, the birds sing a pretty song and there's always music in the air. We have the music, and guess what? We also have the bird. There's a bird cage in this cabin with Waldo the mynah bird inside. Hawk finds a video camera set up on a tripod and sees that there's film inside, so they confiscate that. Oh my gosh, this is a huge breakthrough. There's a cuckoo clock and Harry opens the little doors at the top of it, and a handful of One-Eyed Jack's poker chips comes pouring out of it. The missing pieces in, oh my gosh. Yeah, One-Eyed Jack's. Oh my god, they need to go there. But now it's gala time at the Great Northern. Ben Horn's throwing the gala in order to try and butter up those Icelandic investors, and there are a lot of people here. As far as who we know, we've got Catherine hidden behind the podium, and Pete, obviously the Horns, Benjamin and Audrey, and the whole family. Leland is also there roaming around aimlessly. Ben's in the middle of talking to the investors when Catherine walks up to him and she pours her wine right on his shoe. So he takes her to the side and she says that they need to talk. She's mad. So they head into a room down the hall for some privacy. Audrey sees this and sneaks into the walls again, then looks through the peephole that opens into the room that her dad and Catherine are talking in. And Catherine confronts Ben about the poker chip that she found when they were at the motel together. She's very upset that he's clearly seeing women at One-Eyed Jack's. He says it was Jerry's chip, you know, it's his brother's. She slaps him around and then they make out. She tells him that she wants to burn down the mill tonight. She's sick of talking about it and scheming. She wants to take action. He says that they'll give Josie one last chance to sell the mill tomorrow, and if she refuses, he has hired a professional who will burn it all down, who we know to be Leo. Also, speaking of Josie, by the way, she's just sitting in Ben's office at his desk while this gala is going on, which is odd because what is she doing here? Back to the gala, Jerry starts giving some smarmy speech and then is interrupted by loud music, and I guess there's no stopping it. So now this music, and any music, it seems, really affects Leland. Oh no. What? It's a compulsion. Like when there's music, he feels like he has to dance. So to prevent a scene, Ben tells Catherine to go dance with Leland. She does, and more people end up joining on the dance floor. Okay, crisis avoided. Oh my god, Catherine matching his dance moves is funny. All these people. Madeline calls Donna and tells her that she remembers that Laura told her she would hide cigarettes in her bedpost when they were younger, because one of the bedposts was loose and could be screwed off. So the secret hiding place has been found. Madeline has found a tape. So tomorrow she wants to meet with Donna and James, and she says one of them needs to bring a tape recorder so they can listen to this thing. Okay, now back to Josie and Ben's office. Ben comes in, and I'm thinking he's about to be surprised that Josie's here, but he's not.
You do realize the risk if anyone sees us.
What?
Tomorrow night.
I don't have the brain capacity to process that. Leo arrives home and pulls 2 cans of gasoline out of the shed, likely getting ready for his casual arson tomorrow. But then Hank shows up and beats him up, and he tells him, hey, I told you to mind the store, Leo, not open your own franchise. So basically, Hank was the one running the drug circle before his jail time, and when he went to jail, Leo kind of became the new Hank, and Hank doesn't want a competitor now that he's out. Leo walks inside after Hank leaves, battered and bruised, and Shelly's like, oh my god, what happened? And Leo, of course, starts yelling and gets violent with her, pushing her to the ground. So you know what Shelly does? Was it a kill shot? We don't know yet. We'll come back around to that later. Agent Cooper gets back to his hotel room late that night and he finds someone is already in his bed. Hello? Wait, first of all, how did he know someone was in his room?
Make me leave.
Second of all, what are you doing? You're 18. No. No, you're an FBI agent. She is an 18-year-old girl. No. 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 So Dale reminds Audrey that she's a high school girl and he is an FBI agent, and this simply cannot happen. I will hold out hope every day that this will stay true. Please, please, please.
You need right now, more than anything else, is a friend.
Oh.
Someone who'll listen.
She does need someone to listen to her. No one really seems to listen or see her. At the police station, Andy tries to talk to Lucy, but she still won't bite. They're still fighting. Then Lucy gets a mysterious phone call from a doctor, but we don't know what's going on there. Dale arrives at the station and meets with Dr. Hayward and Harry, where they have Waldo the Mynah bird in his cage. And they've studied. The Mynah birds are capable of very accurate mimicry, but he's staying silent, probably due to him currently being very tired and malnourished. So we just need to take care of him, feed him, and wait and see if he starts talking, starts repeating what he might have heard in that red curtain cabin. Hawk walks in with a fresh fax for Harry and Dale. It has been confirmed with forensics that 3 guests have recently been in Jacques' red curtain cabin: Ronette, Laura, and Leo. And the only exposed negative on the roll of film that they confiscated from the cabin is a picture of Waldo, but we can also see Laura's blonde hair in the shot. Now cut to Leo. Yeah, he's not dead. He's doing fine and he is staking out his own house.
Bobby Briggs.
Oh my god. Inside, Shelly's freaking out, and she tells Bobby what happened last night. She closed her eyes when she shot Leo, but she knows she hit him, and she doesn't think she killed him, but he got away, and she knows he's out there and that he's gonna kill her for what she did. Bobby promises her that he's got it all handled, which... Okay, Bobby.
I'm gonna deal with Leo, I'm gonna deal with James. Bobby's gonna deal with everything.
Bobby might get shot dead. I'm not gonna lie. Outside, Leo either listens in on the police scanner or he's tapped into the station's calls somehow because he hears Lucy talking about a mynah bird on his car radio. And that really spooks him, so he goes driving off. Over to James, Donna, and Maddie. They're listening to the tape that Madeline found in Laura's bedpost, and it's a tape that she made for Dr. Jacoby. Laura's saying how she likes talking into the tape recorder, that it makes her feel like she can spill all of her secrets.
I know you like me too. That'll be my little secret.
Oh, God. Oh, yikes.
Coconut.
She knew about the coconut. She starts thinking about why it's so easy to get guys to fall in love with her, when suddenly the tape comes to an abrupt stop. And the next one, where the monologue continues, is missing. This tape recording is labeled February 23rd, the night that she died. They need to find the second half of the tape, which they're sure Dr. Jacoby must have. So they want to break into his office at his house tonight. But what if he's there? Well, James says they'll make sure that he's out.
Maybe he gets a phone call.
From Laura.
Oh, that's evil. Now it's time to check in with Audrey. Oh, the department store.
Here, try this.
There she is,
Smells like a
working the
florist.
perfume counter. We need to learn its secrets. Audrey slips away for a bathroom break, but what she's really doing is sneaking a smoke in Emery, the manager's office. When she hears him coming down the hall with another perfume counter girl, Jenny, she sneaks into the closet and listens in. I love her. I just love her. And basically what we get here is Emery trying to recruit Jenny as an escort over at One-Eyed Jack's.
They'd like you to continue. And believe me, Jenny, not many girls qualify.
Oh my God.
Yes.
This manipulation is disgusting, making him feel special.
If you are chosen, hospitality girl.
Is that what they call it?
It's a lucrative opportunity, Jenny. Attending to wealthy men in need of a little company.
I hate how they're framing it like, oh, it's hard to be this girl, so that it makes them want to be that girl. But it's not.
All this
God.
Ask
Oh my
for
God,
Black
this is hard to
Rose.
watch. Ask for the Black Rose. Yes, these perfume counter girls get manipulated into calling this sketchy number and asking for the Black Rose, which roughly translates to, "Hi, I'm your next victim." At R&R, Hank thanks Shelley for helping Norma out while he was in jail, and how he's grateful for everyone that helped Norma. You know, Pete, right? Pete helped her.
Oh no, you mean Ed.
Yeah, Big Ed.
Right,
A little
Ed.
better at faces than names, like Big Ed.
Oh, he knows. Oh, he didn't know until she just told him. Back at the perfume counter, Audrey grabs Jenny before she heads out for the day, and she says how Emery talked to her too, and how she'll be a hostess, but like, oh man, she lost the number for the Black Rose. So hey Jenny, could you please give that to me?
Yeah, I got it.
Audrey is so good and a natural. Now we check in on Nadine, and Girlie's just having some downtime at home.
Tune in tomorrow for Invitation to Love.
Invitation to Love. Is that the only show that plays on TV in this town? She's depressed that the patent attorney rejected her silent drape runner invention, but Ed tells her not to give up on her dream. He's a very patient man. Harry visits Josie in person at the lodge and asks her again what she was doing at the motel the other day. Thank God, I don't want him to let this go. She tells him that she was getting evidence for Catherine and Ben's affair, but also tells him that she overheard them speaking on the phone about burning down her mill. She's scared and she's like, I cannot let this happen. Harry later confides in Dale about his worry for Josie and everything that she's been going through when it comes to the mill. And Dale does question whether we can completely trust Josie in all of this, and Harry tells him that he loves her and he believes that they can. So Dale's like, okay, we'll keep an eye on that. I'll look into it. He's a good friend. And as Harry and Dale walk out of the Great Northern, Audrey just misses them. So she calls the station. She tells Lucy that it's urgent and she needs Dale to call her back as soon as possible because of the information she found out about the perfume counter and its connection to One-Eyed Jack's and everything. Now, Catherine meets with an insurance agent because he has some things that he would like to go over with her when it comes to recent changes in her life insurance policy. You gotta have a life insurance policy plot in a show like this, you know? So apparently he was approached by Ben Horn and Josie Packard for these recent changes, but he wanted to make sure to get Catherine's signature in person. Catherine looks over her policy and sees that in the event of her death, $1 million will be going to Josie. So now it's like, Josie and Ben are working together? Are they double crossing Catherine? Like Catherine thinks her and Ben are working together to pin something on Josie, but actually it's Ben and Josie about to destroy Catherine. That's what it's seeming like. So she's not happy with this, and she tells the agent that she won't be signing anything until she meets with her attorney. Mind you, these changes are supposed to take effect tomorrow. Then she goes to grab the second ledger from the sawmill from her secret drawer, but it's missing. Over at the sheriff's station, you will never guess what is finally happening. Waldo starts talking. All he says is Laura. He repeats her name twice, but we don't get to hear any more because Waldo suddenly gets shot dead through the window. It was Leo, and we see him quickly drive off. Harry, Hawk, and Dale were putting some disguises together a couple rooms over because Dale and Ed will be going into One-Eyed Jack's posing as rich oral surgeons from the Tri-City looking to like blow some cash at this casino. And the plan is Hawk will be listening in through secret mics from his car. It's a whole plan, but yes, the fun little disguises party is interrupted when they hear this gunshot, and they run over to Waldo's room and they find him dead. But Dale had been running a tape the entire time in his room, so he grabs it and he rewinds, and they hear Waldo on this tape say, "Don't go there. Hurting me, stop it, stop it." No one relayed the message to Dale to call Audrey back, by the way, so she writes a note herself and slips it under his hotel door to find when he gets back. Which may not be for a while because Ed and Dale have officially infiltrated One-Eyed Jack's now, and it's going well.
Own a gas station. I'm an oral surgeon.
Over at the Great Northern, Jerry is partying with the Icelandic investors again, and Ben pulls him aside, getting annoyed with all the partying. He wants to know when they're signing the contracts, and Jerry is like, "Oh, they want to have a signing party at One-Eyed Jack's." And Ben is like, "What? Well, how do they know about One-Eyed Jack's?" And Jerry's like, "Well, I told them." So Ben tells Jerry to just go. Like, he's pissed. Jerry just is never helpful. Then Ben calls Josie, and he tells her that they need Catherine at the mill. Josie promises she can get her there and asks if they are still on for tonight. And someone is listening to this conversation over Josie's shoulder. Who's that?
Go here for a while.
Is that Hank? Oh, Hank is making her do things, and now it's just a game of like, what is he making her do? Where does her alliance really lie? I mean, obviously it seems like he's making her work with Ben. Okay, so then maybe she must be genuine with Harry then. Audrey has lost her patience and has put on her best dress before going to One-Eyed Jack's herself and auditioning to be one of their girls, which is terrifying. This had me so stressed out. After tying a cherry stem into a knot in her mouth, Blackie hires her. She's going by the name Hester and signs off on the job. Out in the casino area, Dale is playing some blackjack, and guess who starts dealing some cards? We found him. Jacques Renault. Now it's time for Donna, James, and Maddie's shenanigans. Maddie is in a blonde wig and looks exactly like Laura, and from a payphone she gives Dr. Jacoby a call and puts on her best Laura voice. He answers and is freaked out but immediately goes into denial. He's like, "You're not Laura. That's impossible." But when Maddie tells him to go to his door, that something's waiting for him, he does listen, and at his door he finds a package with a VHS tape inside, which he plays immediately in his office. And it shows Maddie in her blonde wig, looking just like Laura, holding up today's newspaper to prove that Laura is alive. So Dr. Jacoby believes it, and when Maddie tells him to meet her at the gazebo on Sparkwood and 21, he leaves his office. He speeds on over. James and Donna drive off to Jacoby's place on his motorcycle, and Madeline stays behind at the gazebo. And guess who's been watching all this time from the bushes? Bobby. He didn't hear anything, but he can see, and I can't imagine what he's thinking right now looking at what looks like Laura, but I can't lie, he doesn't seem to care too much. Like, he's focused on getting revenge on James right now. But guess what? Bobby is not the only one in the bushes. There's another POV that Bobby is unaware of that's watching all of them. So like I said, Bobby's just concerned about screwing up James's life right now, so he leaves the gazebo and follows after Donna and James. And he ends up at Jacoby's house where Donna and James have just successfully broken in. Perfect. Now we get that tape. Let's go. Everything's going to plan. Bobby, don't ruin this. Bobby does ruin this. He plants a baggie of cocaine inside James's motorcycle and then runs off. And we get a POV shot again of that mystery person in the bushes by the gazebo, breathing heavily, still staring intently at Maddie. It's time for the finale. In Dr. Jacoby's office, Donna finds the coconut that Laura mentioned in the tape. She cracks it open, and inside they find the necklace and the missing tape that they were looking for. Back at the gazebo, Maddie is still waiting around, and Dr. Jacoby does show up at a distance. He's trying to look and see if it's really her, and to him, it looks like it really is. But he doesn't have a chance to go up to her because, watch this. What? Over to One-Eyed Jack's, Dale is playing along with Jacques as his dealer for a game of blackjack, and he's doing great. But then Dale hands over the broken poker chip from Laura's stomach to Jacques from the night of Laura's murder.
I'm a friend of Leo's.
Oh.
Buy your cocktails, Jacques?
This feels risky, but okay. Meanwhile, Audrey has been dressed up in some One-Eyed Jack's lingerie and is presented to Blackie. Blackie is happy with how she looks and lets her know that the owner will be coming by tonight and he likes to meet every new girl. Little does Audrey know that the owner of One-Eyed Jack's is her father. Over to Dale again, he's playing Jacques good. He's got him convinced that he's Leo's investor, if you will, and he thinks that Leo's screwing Jacques over, making him do too much work with too little payoff. So Dale puts out $10K and is like, I've got a job for you tonight. No Leo, no middleman, just you. Just meet me at the water processing plant at Black Lake in 2 hours, which conveniently enough is on American soil where they can actually arrest Jacques. And Jacques is an idiot. He's like, oh, cool, okay. He's excited and he agrees. Then Dale tells Jacques that Leo told him about the night in the cabin with the girls, and he's curious about this broken chip, like what happened? So Jacques tells him, the girls were really high and everyone was acting crazy. Leo let the bird out of its cage and it landed on Laura's shoulder.
Laura, she's all tied up. She like that.
The bird starts pecking Laura over and over.
Leo, he's doing a number on her. Laura,
Oh my
she's
God.
screaming about the damn bird.
He continues, quote, so Leo takes out a chip, puts it in her mouth and says, bite the bullet, baby, bite the bullet. That's so funny.
Thanks for
Haha.
clearing that up.
Oh my God, he is fuming. I don't know if I could. I mean, he's not even doing that good of a job of like keeping himself together. He looks so mad. I'm surprised Jacques didn't notice. But cut to Shelley washing her hair in her kitchen sink for some reason. I don't know why. Leo decides to use this as his chance to swoop in. He grabs her from behind and tells her, you made me do this, Shelley.
You made me!
Do what? Now, where have Harry and Andy been all this time? They're in a cruiser waiting in the shadows of the water processing plant that Jacques should be arriving at shortly, thanks to Dale. We've got the whole squad ready to ambush him. So Jacques arrives, parks his car, and gets out of his vehicle, and that's when we surround him with 3 police cruisers. The squad gets out and points their guns in defense, and Harry orders Jacques to keep his hands on the hood of his car, because it looks like he was gonna reach inside and like grab a weapon of some kind for a second. One officer walks up behind Jacques and starts to cuff him as Harry tells him that he's under arrest for the attempted murder of Laura Palmer. Harry turns back and starts to walk over to his car when Jacques pulls himself out of the hold of the officer and grabs his gun, pointing it at Harry. But before Jacques can fire the shot, someone else fires first. Who did that? What? Andy! Wow, good job, Andy. At Donna's house, Donna, James, and Madeline all listen to the tape from Jacoby's office that they stole. And Laura says some wild stuff.
God, James is sweet, but he's so dumb.
Oh, then she brings up a mystery man that she brought up before to Dr. Jacoby, and she tells him that she's pretty sure he's tried to kill her a couple times, but she doesn't mind.
No, I sure got off on it.
What?
This guy can really light my F-I-R-E in red Corvette.
What's happening? I haven't even begun to unpack the things that she says on this tape myself, okay, but it's sad. Speaking of fire, though, we cut to Leo at the mill carrying some gas cans. He's gonna burn her down with the mill? He tells her, quote, you've got 1 hour to think about what you've done to me, and you think about it because by then Bobby Briggs is gonna be dead. Okay, so now we're gonna switch things up for a second. We're gonna go hang out with Nadine. What the hell is this? Oh, just Nadine. No, why is she writing a letter? No. Is she gonna kill herself? Unfortunately, yes. At least she's going to attempt. She pours all of her pills into a bowl and has a cup of water and says goodbye. Then we get another concerning scene. Josie is paying Hank $90,000 per their agreed upon deal that involved him taking the fall for her husband's death on manslaughter charges and spending 18 months in prison. So we leave this scene being like, did she hire Hank to kill her husband, or did she kill her husband and then hire Hank to take the fall? Like, there's so much still to unpack with Josie's character. She is not who she presents. Like, there's so many secrets in her. So yeah, something ain't right here, and Hank tells her that he actually thinks the value of what he's done for her is greater than $90,000 at this point. Hey, what the fuck? What a blood oath. Ew. At the mill, Catherine is panicked looking through the accounting office for that second ledger that's missing, and Pete comes in asking her what she's doing here. So she admits that she's in trouble and she knows that their marriage is a mess, but if he still feels anything for her, she just really needs his help right now. And he breaks down crying and he hugs her. So like, yes, he does want to help her. Shout out Pete. He's a great man with much more patience than me. Love you, Pete. Love you, Pete. Back at the station, the squad is in a circle together, recounting the story of Andy's bravery shooting Jacques and cutting down Jacques' murder attempt. Lucy overhears and asks to talk to Andy privately. And I'm thinking, okay, she heard his heroic tale and she's about to be won over, but no.
I'm pregnant.
So now cut to Jacques in the hospital bed. He did not die from Andy's shot. He's recovering from the bullet wound, and Harry and Dale visit him for some questioning about the night with Laura. He says it was Laura's idea to put her and Ronette's pictures in Flesh World, and that night he says that Leo hit him with a bottle and he started bleeding everywhere, so he used Leo's shirt to clean himself up, and then he ended up throwing up and running outside and passing out. When he woke up hours later, Leo and the girls were gone, and so was Leo's car. And we believe Jacques because, like, Dale thinks he's just too stupid to lie at this point. Also in the hospital is Dr. Jacoby. He's been found and brought in after being attacked at the gazebo, which apparently induced a heart attack. Dr. Hayward fills in Dale and Harry about how Jacoby says he got a phone call from Laura Palmer and he saw her himself at the park. Now, Catherine and Pete are tearing their lodge apart looking for that missing ledger when Catherine receives a call. It's Hank. She doesn't recognize his voice, but he tells her that the ledger is at the mill. Catherine asks him what he wants, and he answers, "We'll let you know." And then he hangs up. So, guys, remember when Josie told Ben that she could get Catherine to the mill? Well, she definitely hired Hank to make this call and get Catherine over there, and this is probably the reason why he's saying that she owes him more than the $90K that they agreed on, because she keeps asking for favors. So yes, Josie and Ben have been working together, and the whole time, their endgame has been to burn down the mill and have Catherine burn down with it. Now, Ed finally gets home for the night. Is it too late? No, I don't want the music to kick in. What? Is she breathing? We don't find out. Will Nadine live? It's a cliffhanger for the season, so stay tuned. Back at the station, Lucy is rushing to tell Harry and Dale that Leo Johnson called and left a message. It wasn't really Leo, though. It was Bobby pretending to be Leo, and basically he was just like, search James's bike because he planted that cocaine. Lucy didn't realize it wasn't actually Leo, but what she did notice was a clock chiming in the background, and she said it sounded just like the clock at Easter Park with the gazebo. And because they all think that it really was Leo calling, Dale orders Hawk to pull the surveillance off of Leo's house and instead set up a perimeter around Easter Park. James shows up at the station to talk to Harry to fill him in on the tape that they found. But Dale sees James is here and pulls him aside, and that's when Leland also shows up at the station.
Is it true?
What? Oh,
You
no.
found him.
Oh, no.
You got the killer?
I hope Leland doesn't see Maddie with the blonde wig. Leland sees Dr. Hayward leaving the station for the night and asks if he's going to be heading back to the hospital. And Dr. Hayward says no, that he's heading home.
Hospital.
Why does he feel compelled to go to the hospital? So James tries to tell Dale that he's got to listen to this tape that he found of Laura, that the man that they're looking for drives a red Corvette. But at this point, Harry has found the cocaine in James's bike.
I've been very patient with you, James.
Oh my God. Oh, that's so annoying. I really hope he starts being honest now so that it won't hinder the investigation. At One-Eyed Jack's in Blackie's office, Ben is working on getting the Icelandic investor to finally sign the Ghostwood Estates contract. Then he gets a phone call from Hank saying that it's officially time to kill Leo and he just wants to get the go-ahead from Ben. And Ben tells him to do it. So basically, they just want to use Leo to handle the arson of the mill, and now it's time for him to also die. Now, Bobby shows up at Leo and Shelly's place looking for Shelly. Obviously, Shelly isn't there. She is tied up at the mill with a ticking bomb. But Leo is there to greet him.
Actually, it's you I was looking for, the cops, man.
No, he's not lying though. An axe! But Bobby kind of gets saved by the bell-named Hank because Hank shoots Leo from outside the window. Hank doesn't see Bobby on the ground inside witnessing this. So he just drives off and thinks he had no witnesses to murdering Leo. I shouldn't say murder because yes, Leo is in rough shape, but it's not instant death, so we're not sure if he's gonna bleed out and die or not. There's another cliffhanger for the season. Over at the mill, Shelly is crying and freaking out when Catherine finally shows up with a gun, walking right into the trap that Hank has set.
I can't understand a word you're saying. You have a thing in your mouth.
Why don't you take it out? Catherine ungags Shelly and Shelly begs for help. Catherine doesn't even know who she is. She has to ask, and Shelly tells her that her name is Shelly Johnson. And I'm sure Catherine knows of Leo Johnson, so she's trying to work out what is going on here.
Please help me.
Be quiet. I'm thinking.
Can you think faster? The bombs all go off and the fire spreads quickly and the mill is going down. But Catherine does the right thing and frees Shelly before they run off together. But we don't know if they're gonna make it out alive. Over at the hospital, Leland has arrived and he finds Jacques' room. There's a fire alarm going off right now, so no staff is around, and Leland takes the opportunity to tie Jacques down to the bed with tape and then smothers him to death with a pillow. I assume for revenge as far as Jacques' involvement with his daughter Laura, which he just found out about. Now people are gathering at the mill, watching it go up in flames, and Pete is among them. He knows Catherine went in there and he's afraid that she hasn't made it out, so he runs into the burning mill to make sure and save her if he needs to. Back to Ben at One-Eyed Jack's.
Ghostwood. Huh?
Oh wow. Papers actually got signed. So in celebration of finally sealing the deal on Ghostwood Estates, Ben says he's ready to meet the new girl. The new girl literally being his daughter, Audrey. And she's all dressed up in a room knowing that it's time for the owner to visit. And Ben walks inside and starts to go down the little hall that leads to Audrey, but we cut away, and I'm so sorry to say that it is another cliffhanger. This finale is so mean to us. Over to Dale finally getting back to the Great Northern for the night. He's filling in Diane as he's walking down the hall to his room. Oh no, he's gonna find I was gonna say the note from Audrey is still there. But before he can read the letter, his phone rings. It's Officer Andy, but Dale is tired and he's like, can this wait until morning? And then there's a knock at his door, and he sets the phone down to go and answer it, thinking that it's room service. We can hear Andy though through the phone, freaking out. He's like, it's Leo, we found Leo Johnson, he's been shot. Well, Dale doesn't hear that. Instead, he opens his hotel door. No! And that is it for season 1 of Twin Peaks. I hope you enjoyed this season 1 recap, and Diane, we have a final message from the Log Lady.